So poor infrastructure because of poor political leadership. That's what many people are blaming our issues on. Now, one of the cities which is often seen as a leading light when it comes to infrastructure is the city of Ekurhuleni. It's often been called one of the cities to use as an example, but ActionSA is calling for an urgent debate now on the financial status of the city of Ekurhuleni. Senior reporter Moloko Moloto is out there for us, joins us now. Hello to you, Moloko, as well. Even the Auditor General previously deeming Ekurhuleni as one of those that is actually doing quite well, but it doesn't seem to be the case when you dig down deeper.
Well, Gareth, when you arrive at the offices of Ekurhuleni here in the small town of Germiston, particularly where the offices of the executive are, you will see a huge board where the municipality is really gloating, celebrating the fact that they attained clean audits. They have put up a banner out there saying back-to-back clean audits in the year, financial year 2019 and 2020 and 2020 and 2021. But of course, that was during the time when the ANC was still co-governing with the AIC, I beg pardon. We now know that in 2021 things changed. The ANC was kicked out, and now there's a new executive in office, having removed the Democratic Alliance. You are hearing, therefore, the complaints by those on the opposition benches, particularly the ActionSA and the Democratic Alliance. So last week, Thursday, the Democratic Alliance put an urgent motion which they wanted council to debate. It didn't happen. And of course, we are going to speak to Council Speaker, who will be telling us reasons. The ActionSA then issued out a subsequent statement saying that accusing, let me be specific, accusing the Council Speaker, Ntabiseng Chivenga, of being partisan. They are saying instead of calling the member of Mayoral Committee for Finance, Nkululeko Dunga, who is representing the economic freedom fighters, they say the Council Speaker, who herself is a representative for the economic freedom fighters, they say she chose to wear a political party hat. Let's bring her in to this conversation. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. You might have heard the ActionSA are saying that you are partisan when you have to deal with issues that concern the finances of the municipality.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Moloko, and good morning to the viewers. Well, I doubt that can be true. In our role as the Speaker, we exercise the utmost independence and impartiality. There was no point where we were partisan in terms of that. The motion that was submitted by the DA is what we call an urgent motion, which is submitted in terms of Rule 90 of the Standing Order bylaws. So in this case, unfortunately, we had another urgent motion that was submitted before the motion of the DA, and that motion was a motion of a bereaved former councillor, Alderman Siboza. So what happens is that when a former councillor who was an alderman passes on, we are obligated as the municipality to confer a civic funeral for that councillor. And in this case, that urgent motion was the one that was given preference, because Rule 90, Section 6 also indicates that we may only as council debate one urgent issue per council sitting. So there was no point where we were partisans. We're just simply applying the rules as they are given to us.
You are chairperson of council as council speaker. Your role is to play oversight over the executive mayor and the members of the mayoral committee. They're supposed to bring reports to you, I suppose, on monthly and quarterly basis, so that you can be able collectively as councillors to determine whether there's governance, good governance, and whether the finances are being run procedurally. What is the state of finances here as someone who is overlooking the entire council?
Moloko, I will not dwell much on the issue of the state of finances, which is precisely why we had to put the matter in abeyance, right, to take it to the next council meeting. I want to state it categorically clear that there is no point where we are saying there is less importance, the issue of the finances of the state, of our city is less important than the other motion. When the motion was tabled in council, we to show our good faith, we circulated the motion. To show our good faith, we committed on holding a special council meeting in order to debate the motion. Moloko, we must not play with the lives of the people. There is no way that we could allow the MMC of Finance to speak on the spot about issue of finances. Finances are a very important part of service delivery. They're an important part of the livelihoods of the people of the city of Ekurhuleni. Hence, we had said we are going to give the MMC enough time, which is after recess. Recess is from today to the 10th of October, which is next week. After that, we are going to have a special meeting. We'll have a special programming meeting that will then program the motion, and we will all gather with all facts.
Yeah.
Fair
enough. I'm sorry for interrupting. However, even though, let's say in the absence of the urgent motion that had been put by the Democratic Alliance, ordinarily, in the ordinary course of events, the executive mayor must account to you as council. And as I said, you are chairing council. Surely, every now and again, they are obligated, they are obliged in terms of the law to submit reports. The reports that you have seen up to now, let's leave this one perhaps that the DA demanded. Up to now, are you happy with the state of finances here?
Moloko, we don't unilaterally take decisions in council. When the motion was submitted to us, we put it to the table to everyone for council to speak on it. And minority parties caucus, which has more than 10 parties, indicated that even themselves, they don't feel that they are ready to speak on the...
No, I hear that, and I want to move away from this one relating to the application by the DA. Yes. I've just said that every month and quarterly, the executive mayor must submit reports. Let's go back to say those reports that have been submitted or that were supposed to have been submitted, I'm not too sure if they do. When you peruse them as councillors, yes, are you happy with the state of finances here?
Obviously, we are not happy with the state of finances, and you must know that it is not solely in the city of Ekurhuleni that we have a challenge in terms of the finances. The National Treasury itself has released a moratorium and a cost containment measures that applies to the entire country, and it applies to the state of the economy as it stands. So we are not happy, we are not fully comfortable with the state at which our finances are at. We know that we closed our books in not so good position, but we had a more than 300 million in our coffers, which is not enough for a city as big as the city of Ekurhuleni. So we are not happy, we are not where we're supposed to be, but we are trying by all means to enhance all our revenue collection systems and to ensuring that at least we have more money in our coffers. We are not completely happy, but we are working on it as the people's government.
Now, you as council just passed the 55.3 billion rand budget. In terms of that was, and the financial year started in July. From July up to now, in terms of the services, because you simply are here to give the people of Ekurhuleni services, nothing else. Mm-hmm. How has that been going as councillors? When you monitor the pace, does it make you happy?
We are getting there. Firstly, we have restored the free basic services to our people. So that means at least we would then be able to have more people who we call indigent being able to have access to services. There are a lot of problems that we have currently with people not understanding what is due to them, what is not due to them. But we are currently doing our best as a city to ensure that we increase the level of service delivery. Our townships are much cleaner than they used to be. There are more people that are buying electricity. We've increased the threshold of the indigent application from 250,000 from those earning 250,000 per annum to those earning 500,000 per annum. Yeah.
But according to the DA, the councillor Fanyana Nkosi, the municipality is unable to pay the suppliers And as a result, he is of the view that it's just a matter of time before services collapse, and it's just a matter of time before you as councillors and the workers do not receive your salaries.
Moloko, you would know that the fiscus will not collapse overnight. Councillor Nkosi was the former MMC of Finance in the previous administration that we have ousted earlier in this year. So it's been a process that has been coming, and hence our government came in to try and rectify some of these things.
So you inherited a mess?
We inherited a big mess, but there has never been a time where we have not paid salaries. We've been slow, obviously, in terms of paying the service providers, because we have to collect some revenue and balance things out. But so far, there has not been any collapse. We are in a recovery mode. Hence, we presented a recovery budget as the city in the previous budget speech.
All right, just quickly then, do you have any idea when this urgent motion by the DA is going to be discussed or debated by council?
We committed to debating the motion within 7 days when we return from recess. The last day of recess is the 10th of October. So before the 20th, we would have called a special council meeting to come and debate the issue of the financial state of the city, Moloko.
Thank you so much for your time. Council Speaker for the city of Ekurhuleni, Ntabiseng Chibenga, committing that that urgent motion will be put before council, and as councillors, as the people who've been elected to look into the issue of governance, finances, and the provision of services here, they will debate it and map a way forward.
And we wait to see what happens with that once it is tabled. eNCA senior reporter Moloko Moloto.